My name is Quaggersall. Welcome back to EU4, our France is already OP campaign. Alright, so I'm planning to play a lot of this game today and tomorrow to try to just get this series in the books. So, right now, it looks like 2 wars, Ottomans, air. I want to try to line these up. So this is late game. You got to try to have multiple wars going on at the same time. So we'll probably piece out the Ottomans, Siak, and air separately, all around the same time, and then pass all that out to subjects, eat what we can, and then move on to the next set of wars real quick. If you've not played late game, it is... I would say tedious is probably the best word for it, unfortunately. But it just takes a lot of lather, rinse, repeat. It's really not difficult. It hasn't been difficult for a while, but you guys know that. The achievement is to persist, I suppose. So what are our goals right now? Obviously, we're shooting for the World Conquest, but our immediate goals are to get Africa cleaned up and to reduce all the majors besides Ming down to manageable war accounts. So basically, when you're looking at a world conquest, you need to look at the people who are more than 100% peace deal in size. So I've been, fitting in some little guys, like it looks like I'm about to attack Venice as well. He's just an extra snack to keep my overextension filled. But the main ones that we need to be focused on are like the Ottomans, like Delhi, like Bengal. And then, of course, we do need to tackle the Ming at some point. I'm probably going to do like a whole splinter him, take all his forts, kind of peace deal, and then go in and make a bunch of subjects, and then go back in and feed my subjects, and then just lather, rinse, repeat kind of thing. I don't know how many years that'll take, but we'll see. That's a ways off. It looks like Spain wants some of the Balkans, and we're attacking Venice. Good. 2 wars isn't enough. Really not. Although we are running out of people to attack, basically. Just kind of funny. Yeah. They don't like Afghanistan. I've noticed them doing that a lot. Yeah, and there I'm like, nope, if we take this area, I'm going to take it. Even if I give it to him. Because I have more administrative efficiency from all my absolutism. I wonder if we can... We definitely want to take that Ottoman fort right there as well in Frang. I don't know if we can eat all of the Venice this war. He's actually larger than it seems. The reasonably high dev there. 68. Not even thinking about it. Just go. Hey, we got his flagship. Cool, we needed a little bit of prestige. We're not at 100 for some reason. So many rebels, though. Oh, nice. Spoiler alert, we're about to get a bunch. There's some people that might be wondering why I don't do like the 200 and 300% overextensions like some people do. And while I don't normally even do that when I have good ideas, right now we don't have humanist or religious, so we're not very stable. And we don't have the best military ideas, frankly. So a bunch of rebels is actually quite taxing on our economy and our system. And we're going to have a lot if we have that high of overextension. We already get a good number of rebels at just 100% overextension. I might need to do a few over 100% overextensions just to get to continue comfortably eating people, but I am trying to avoid it. Like there's 108, so we might, if I can get the absolutism up, 100.8 I should say. Or possibly give a province to Spain or something. See, we're already getting over 100%. It's literally 0.8. It's enough. Hopefully another province will get done super quick. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So I can click that now. The reason, I've mentioned that before, the reason I leave that up is the quicker you dismiss it, the quicker you're going to get another event. E8. I want to wait for that to finish, or a few more to finish. A tea party. Nice. I don't get those events very often. Although, to be fair, I don't play late game very often. Relative to as much as I play this game. I have, I think, 4 or 5 World Conquests on the channel now, but I also have like something like 20 or more series on the channel, and I played a lot before I started doing the channel, and I've played a little bit not on camera in the last 2 years, if you believe it or not. I know I put a lot of videos out, or I have at different times. So the percentage of times that I'm playing late game is actually relatively low. I think I'm getting a little bit better. I've talked recently though about I recognize my faults though in the late game. I don't push in the early, like the 1650 to 1700 kind of time frame as hard as I should. And I don't start doing multiple wars early enough and that kind of thing. I think I'm just going to leave him with Cyprus. I don't feel like getting boats down there and sieging it down, especially with the Ottomans and their navy nearby right now. I want to get out of these wars. I'm going to do what I can from him and finally kick him out of India and Indonesia. Checking if I needed to use some prestige. Very cool. Now we manage the empire a bit, give out a bunch of land, and decide our next targets. You can see me having trouble finding Afghanistan on the list there. Or, I'm sorry, Ardabil. A little bit of border gore. We'll have to kill Biapis to fix that, which is something I'd like to do soon. Alright, so I ended up with a few provinces. And that's because I took land from Siak. I have very little Diplo right now. That's not going to change though. We have so many subjects. I think what I'm going to have to do is, even though I already did that one, I'm going to have to pull back some here. In fact, all of it. And just give it to Spain. Feels bad, but it has to happen. Not going over is pretty important. The problem with Spain's list is we border him in so many different areas that he's got a massive list, and it takes me a while to find. This is such a janky system. I like the way they do client states a little bit better. But I found out that if you make a march out of a client state, you can no longer do that, where you click on the province and then click on the client state button to join it to an existing one that it borders. It'll just try to make another one if it's a client state / march. Unknown. Yeah, well, that's probably because I have negative. Yeah, I remember this. I was trying to figure out. It shouldn't be too quick, but I should be able to integrate him because I have negative Diplo, dude. Look up there again. -4. I don't want to stay at peace though. Might just attack Japan. Mir. Oh no, I remember. I couldn't stop Jerusalem from going back Sunni. It feels bad. Look at all that red up there in our part of the Caucasus area. We're only 9 out of 8. I think Spain's gonna take a long time. We're ever able to start integrating him. Alright, Khmer and separatist sentiment. It's bad. I'm teetering over around 100, just trying to eat as much as we can. Yeah, we don't even have a lot of those cores started, let alone... not only do you have to wait for them, the existing ones to finish, but there's many that will take even longer because we haven't even started them. Yeah, keeping that separatist sentiment thing up there gets a little annoying sometimes, but I'm telling you, it's much worse if you just click through it. You'll get double the number of separatist sentiments, which just gives massive extra unrest, and I think it's 2 provinces each time. Can't remember. But yeah, see, he's getting a bunch of rebels too. We probably gave him massive overextension. And the fighting rebels begins. I'm telling you, when you don't have a very stable, as far as unrest reductions, and you've got relatively low religious unity, which ours is somewhere in the 70s, I think, the rebels will come on quick. It can really be kind of cancerous. Now, you might wonder, why would you go to war if you're about to have this massive rebel situation? And there's 2 reasons. Besides the we need to keep warring if we ever want to get this done kind of idea. See, look at all the rebels. I'll start just pushing them to the side. Grab some troops, mitigate that issue. Grab some troops, mitigate that issue, and you know, that kind of thing. And just every month, that's what's going to be. Because rebels usually pop on the monthly tick. But yeah, it's not just wanting to continue conquering and try to get to the World Conquest. Being at war actually helps you fight rebels, because both your allies, subjects, and your enemies will fight your rebels for you sometimes. So yeah, especially if it's a manageable war that you're not afraid of, I say go through it. It also helps you get military access. Oh, we're gonna take a loan. And there's no thing I can do about it right now. No worries, it's worth the professionalism. That's manpower. But yeah, fighting little wars can actually help with the rebel situation. Like, he's isolated. Trying to decide if we should eat Emir and release him, or Ayatollah and release him. One or the other. I'll eat one into the other. See, look at all this. Half of them are not mine, but still, I gotta deal with them because they're separatists. I was kind of surprised at how unstable Europe was, having conquered most of that long ago. Oh yeah, I forgot Cuba is not actually in the war. Is he scootaged? Oh, and look, that's actually worse than the rebel sentiments. That legitimacy questioned at this point in the game is 15 legitimacy, which hurts your absolutism so hard. I decided to take missionary strength for institution spread. Since the institutions are over, that obviously loses its bite. Start cleaning some of these guys up. Now I also have to keep in mind that if need be, my stacks can usually take a rebel army about twice their size, but there's a lot more manpower loss when that happens. You want to try to beat the rebels as efficiently as possible, even if you're just scrambling to try to kill as many as you can before they start breaking out, which is something I have to start checking soon, because it can very easily come a situation where you forget about a rebel and then all of a sudden, you know, Muscovy pops out or some BS thing. Also, I've had a free merchant for like a month and a half or more, just when I noticed it in the voiceover here. It's not that important at this point. If and when I get Spain integrated and a few more trade company regions dominated, especially in India, I expect we'll peak somewhere around like 35 Something like that. I didn't really try to min-max the colonial nations that hard. I am interested in doing that in a campaign, though. I did a little bit in the Portugal one. I got quite a number of merchants, but I'd love to see like a... I believe you can get like... Is it 30? I forget. I saw a Reddit post one time where a guy explored how you could have the absolute best. You'd have to have like 3 or 4 per colonial region, and like 5 in some of the bigger colonial regions. You could, that's more than 30, isn't it? That's quite a bit. But that requires you to have other healthy colonizers. You could I suppose you could have like say take Castile, vassalize Portugal, steal Norway from Denmark, and then maybe vassalize England. Brittany sometimes colonizes if you let him live long enough. You basically need to find 4 or 5 vassal colonizers and then let the New World fill up. And if you need to, attack natives and stuff and give them to certain subjects to influence who gets what in each area to give them a base. Once they all have a colonial nation of 5, then you just gotta... I suppose you could fill up the rest and then release that subject, kill it, and give it to all your other subjects in the ways you want, and then keep 10 for yourself. It would work. It'd be a lot of work. It'd be a lot of micro. I'd love to see, though, if you could pull that off. And there's the first 30 minutes. I've been doing these in 30-minute chunks. And then that was me saving, and then we're starting back over. That's about how long I intend to do normal videos. So I know if I just do 3 of those, we can get there. Although that was more than 30 minutes. That was more like an hour. I was thinking about accepting them. Don't think I'm gonna do that once I saw that how much. I think it's every province gets 30% autonomy, which is wow. It would be devastating at this point when we're approaching 1 million troops. All of a sudden, we would do like a huge bankruptcy spiral. Or I'd have to just lower my expenses like crazy, which we don't really want because I need to be able to smack some people. Here we go. And Khmer out into Ayutthaya. And the rebels. So this episode is unfortunately not nearly as many years in game. I was shooting for 6 per episode. I think this comes out to like a regular episode's worth of time frame, just because rebels are so time consuming to deal with. I also started doing just the single merc spams eventually. We'll see that in a few minutes probably, but once there's a bunch of places overcome by rebels, you can just pop out single mercs and take back a few provinces. It can actually be quite useful because then the rebels will go back over the provinces they had already captured. They'll kill your little 1 stacks, but that's no big deal because they're spreading less separatism when they... Because if you're not aware, once rebels hit a place and add 10 separatism, it says they do it again, but they don't really. There's kind of like a soft cap on how much rebels can add separatism, unless that's changed. But even if it's not, just having them concentrate that separatism in a few provinces instead of all the provinces that might be eligible can be useful. And over the course of all these rebels, it adds up. As you can see, they're starting to pile up. I'm also trying to determine who I could integrate, and it's just... We got Spain started, but he's going to take like 40 years or some BS number if we're lucky. We really need diplomatic. We also need, well, I say we need administrative, but we need one or the other, basically. If we had administrative, I could be eating more. If we had diplomatic, I could be integrating subjects more and therefore churning more dev through subjects. Basically, I need to be able to put more points into dev with a higher efficiency rate, whether that be admin points or diplo points. Arguably, both would be better, obviously. But if only we had taken those ideas early. That is my big regret in this campaign, is the bad ideas. I thought it was an interesting kind of hook, but I would have needed to ended it at, like, probably the better than Napoleon for that to stay good, because, or stay interesting, because it slows this part down quite a bit. I won't be doing that next time. I'm thinking about doing like a how fast can you destroy the Ottomans campaign with the Mamluks, because I don't have the Levant Turnabout achievement. I never got that after that patch, and it was the thing that was voted on the most besides France and Prussia in my poll that I did like a month or two back. Well, actually no, it's been like 3 months now, hasn't it? I think it'd be interesting, just like an immediate no CB on Byzantium possibly, and then just try to balloon and kill him as quickly as possible, and then get the 100 professionalism, and then be done with it and move on to the next thing. I'm also super interested. I've watched 2 videos on it, and I'm formulating how I might go about doing the true heir of Timur. I think I want to try to get that done before the 1.30. There are some ways that I think it might be easier, and there's some ways that I think it might be harder. All I know is right now it's possible, and I don't want to miss my chance of it being possible in case it becomes impossible. That makes sense. I don't know if it's possible at my skill level, but I know it is possible as I've seen it happen. Yeah, the extra cancer of all of the islands makes this take even longer. All the islands out there in Indonesia that are rebelling right now. But you see this, like, it took less than about a year and a half to go from basically no rebels to just rebels everywhere, and it's gonna keep growing. This is what I get for pushing too hard. Should have stayed under 100. Limited my gains. Also, the war with Japan, I have no intention of taking anything from Japan. He's I think he's getting attacked by Manchu as well, and I'm not scared of him. Like, he could take all that Ainu area and I still wouldn't care. Eventually I could just white piece him. Probably what I'll do. But that's just, again, to make it so that my subjects will send armies against the rebels. I think I saw a Spanish, yeah, he has 0 manpower, but I saw a Spanish army killing some rebels, which every little bit helps. And this is just, this episode, each of these episodes now are about an hour and a half of me playing, condensed down to 30 minutes. And like I said, I think we started in 29, guys. It's only 31. It's not even the end of 31. We still got a little ways to go. Hopefully we make at least 32. And yeah, I'm just trying to concentrate, but see, Europe has been stripped of troops for a long time. I'm having to build up troops on the British Isles to deal with the British Isle rebels. That's kind of funny. Because I don't have any boats over here because they're all in Indonesia messing around, or in Japan, or in Africa. I think I built a stack of boats though, so yeah, they're there. So that'll help soon. Trying to break the Pope out. Can't be having that. So there, I'm just leaving some a little bit to take the province so I can move on to something else. Oh, looks like Ming inherited some of my rebels. Hopefully he fights them. Yeah, so many. Oh, and see, that's kind of annoying when it's out on an island. I basically got to leave a decent stack on each major island, or near me each major island. Some transports. The goal here is not to let anything break out, because my brain will just go crazy if I have to recore things. Hate that. That's one of the big reasons I hate that Cossacks thing that breaks out near the Caucasus sometimes if you're a certain government type, I think. And there's no way to make it not break out. You can either make it a march or you go directly to war with it and you lose your cores. Or no, do you lose your cores? You might not lose your cores. If you don't lose your cores, then my argument is null and valid. Like, it's just annoying. It's not, like, infuriating. But do lose your cores. I hate that. I can't remember. I got that in the Byzantium campaign. I remember not being very happy. Luckily, it was late enough that we were not in danger anymore, but still. Just irked me. Grr. I get why maybe Hungary, we conquered him not that long ago. Some of that stuff we've had for so long. Not that stable. Alright. What's next? Oh yeah, I'm looking for another cover war once we get out of Japan, because it needs to happen soon, probably. We're not going to advance there. We do need to eventually think about, in just a few months, even though that will be probably a long time of gameplay away, we'll dip below 100 in the overextension. But once that happens, I do need to fill it right back up. Like, despite the rebels, we still have a job to do here. We are approaching 1 million. Excuse me. That was a mute fail. I pressed the button, it didn't work. Alright, so Novgorodians. I think Russia is going to be the biggest problem, because even the few troops I have in Europe are mostly central and south. Oh, good. Don't want to get rid of him. And we're losing forts up there in Russia early, so... Actually, Scandinavia might be the biggest problem. We will see. What I'm trying to do now is record these and then immediately do the voiceover. And then record the next set. Before I record another set, do the voiceover kind of thing, even if I can't do it immediately. Because the last 3 I did all in one batch, and then went back and did all the voiceovers, so, you know, I had forgotten half of what had happened. One of the reasons why I just started babbling about other stuff. But some of you guys said you like some of the insight, and I appreciate it. I've noticed that a couple of you guys are like long-term commenters and watchers. I look, like, whenever you comment, the new comment analytics thing, YouTube Studio, whatever they call it, will show right next to your name in my little comment aggregator thing if you're a subscriber, and then how long ago it was that you subscribed. And it only does this if you're a public subscriber. So I know that there's a lot of people that don't show their subscriptions on YouTube. And then if you do that, that means I don't know that you're a subscriber, which is fine. And, you know, you have every right to do that. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. I appreciate it if you do, though. It helps me out a lot. But it's interesting, and I'll see, like, a comment. I've never seen this person before, but I look, and they've been a subscriber for 8 months or something like that, and sticking around. Or I'll see comments that I see all the time. And then just the other day, one guy who literally has put at one point he was just getting the thing where he was considered spam by YouTube because it was just putting all of his comments into spam, because most of them were just like good job or this is a good video, that kind of thing, which I appreciate, and I kept pulling them out of spam because, you know, maybe it's just me stroking my ego, but I was hoping that it helps the algorithm, although I don't know if that's true after it's been in the spam filter. But anyways, I'm getting off topic, but I like just the other day he subscribed to me. Like, I was thinking, you have like 200 comments and you never subscribe. It's just weird. People do YouTube differently. But anyways, I really appreciate some of the long-term people that I watch for a while, and they comment, and they've commented that, you know, there's mixed opinions on some of the things I'm doing to mix up the content, but I'm getting largely positive, at least positive towards me attempting, whether they like this specific way or not, which I appreciate. I'm glad you guys can understand that I gotta kind of shake it up, as I'm getting burned out is what's happening. I'm getting burned out with just the regular Let's Play. I think I can tell it in the Scotland one, but luckily that's starting to break now, and the playing the MP and doing some of this different stuff with video editing and trying different things is making me have fun a little bit more again. And then also the Scotland campaign is just like I'm winning eventually, finally, so that's good. All right, well, I'm gonna take a break. Let me know what you think down below or over at the Discord. Leave me a like if you like what you see, and a subscribe if you want to see more. Most importantly though, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.